From historic Memorial Coliseum on the campus of the University of Kentucky, welcome to women's SEC basketball. Tonight, the final tune-up for the Wildcats before they face off against their interstate rival, Louisville, on Saturday evening. Hi, everyone. I'm Jeff Pecor alongside of Christy Thomas. And Christy, the Wildcats have opened the season in spectacular fashion with 2 straight wins, led by a wonderful first season by sophomore center Clara Strack. She's been something else.
Oh, she has been, and Kenny Brooks has told us that she has made the biggest jump of any player from her freshman year to her sophomore year. She's nearly averaging a double-double with 18 points and almost 10 rebounds per game, but she has been so efficient from the field, shooting 62%. Kenny also tells us that she's one of the most physical players that he's ever coached. But what I love the most about what we've seen the first 2 games is the versatility in her game. She can play with her back to the basket and make some great post moves, but she can also cut without the ball. Then you see here that physicality that he's talking about, being able to play through it.
If you play for Kenny Brooks, you better play defense, and the Wildcats have done that the first 2 games, holding their opponents under 30% from the field.
Well, the tallest team in program history is using their size and length to their advantage. This team has 28 blocks in 2 games, and freshman Silva is a big reason for that. She's got 11 of those on her own. But what you love about this is that they're not just blocking shots, but they're keeping the ball in play, which is having their defense turn into offense.
All right, quick look at the 2 coaches that are squaring off today. Jimmy Garrett, he's been fantastic in leading Wofford 5 Division I seasons. He's 2023 regular season champ of the SoCon. He was Coach of the Year in 2023 as well. Great job he's done in 9 years. And Kenny Brooks' first season here, he was fantastic at Virginia Tech. 2023 Final Four. He's winning at an almost 72% clip. We'll get you to the starters in just a minute as we are ready for tip-off here at historic Memorial Coliseum. And boy, that ball barely got out of her hand, didn't it? So we're going to have a re-jump. They're going to reset the clock. Yep, there we go, back to 10 minutes. Tiana Key for Kentucky, and it's controlled by Evangelia Pollock on the defensive end. Polk has been really good. 6 steals in their opening game of the season. They've won 2. Both of these teams coming in here undefeated. Kentucky will play man-to-man, as will Wofford. And a foul on the first drive of the game is cutting through the basket, Maddie Heiss. And she'll go to the free throw line for 2.
Well, those line drives were a problem for Kentucky on the defensive end in their last game. Kenny Brooks talked about that, how that had to get better, had to improve there.
Foul was on Deja Lawrence. As a team, a very good free throw shooting team, almost 80% for the entire team at Wofford. And Heiss, all freshman SoCon last season, 1 of 2, and Strack with the rebound. Here comes the former All-American Georgia Amoore. Bring it up court. All-SEC first-teamer. She will control this offense for the Wildcats. You know, we talked to Coach Garrity this morning, and I asked him, I said, you might run zone or anything? And he just started laughing. He goes,
no.
We've never practiced it. So,
no, absolutely
is
not.
your answer to that. Offensive rebound by Key inside. She brought the ball down, and that is a no-no, as Helen Matthews was right there to tie her up. The ball will stay with the Wildcats, though, as the arrow now will flip to Wofford. So Kentucky gets the ball underneath, and it's Amoore, the trigger person. She gets it in the short side to Strack. Back to Lawrence. Top of the key jumper is good. Here's your starting 5 for Wofford. Heiss, Matthews, Privet, who's missed 2 straight seasons with leg injuries. Polk and Floor, who also missed last season with an injury.
Well, injuries were a huge problem for Wofford last year. To be able to get 3 players that were injured back and into the starting lineup is huge for them. Depth was an issue. We're seeing that now with Kentucky. 2 players that could easily be in the starting lineup out for Kentucky.
And that was Mia Floor, who missed at that time. She's a transfer from Idaho State. And there you see the Idaho State transfer, Matthews, a preseason All-SoCon, and Libby Privet, as I said, missed her freshman and sophomore season. She is a junior, but she still has 4 years of eligibility. Lawrence, jumper, good from the elbow. So the Cats start off 2 of 3 from the field. Here's Polk again. She drives around. Strack stays in front of her, and she throws that one away. She was trying to kick it to the wing. Libby Privet was hanging out there, but an unforced error. Cats want to kind of take the heart out of this team early. And as Coach Garrity was saying, if they could get a couple of shots to fall, that would be great. Georgia Amoore, that one just off the back iron. Her first 3 attempt of the game. As I said, Kentucky has the height advantage at every position, but Polk goes right in, misses the layup. And here comes the Cats, 2-on-1 break. Here's Hassett. Gets her feet under from 3 and misses again, but Kia's right there and puts it back up and in. Offensive boards, Christy, it's so important.
Well, and that's rebounding is always on every coach's board about being, so important on both ends of the floor. But when you're undersized, this is where Wofford has to make a concentrated, concerted effort to put a body on somebody and know where everyone is at all times.
Another 3 is short, but it's run down by Floor. She kicks it off and driving for the shot, no good by Privet. And here comes Kentucky. Lawrence beats them all downfield, but nice defense there, and they're going to call a foul on Maddie Heiss. That was a great pass, wasn't it?
What a pass. My goodness.
Great vision.
Great vision, understanding. Listen, and Deja Lawrence was hiding behind the Wofford defense there. Take another look at this. Watch this ball just go up and over the defense at just the right spot. And if you can get Deja Lawrence really involved in this offense early on for Kentucky, that's so huge. You count heavily on Strack, Amoore, Silva for scoring, but to get this young lady going is really, really big for the Cats.
So here's offensive end by Wofford. And again, Polk in a little mix-up there. Privet, now Matthews. Matthews spins over the top. Nice changing of the defense there. Nowhere to go. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Polk under the basket. Oh, nice layup from under the basket. She's able to get it to go.
Well,
Evangelia Polk, wow.
At just 6 feet tall, this is Kentucky with a serious size advantage. That's what you have to do. Extend the defense, force them to make some decisions, put the ball on the floor. They got to guard you.
Lawrence 3 is good for the Wildcats. 10-point lead for Kentucky. Eight-point lead, sorry. Our little scoreboard here next to you is way behind. Again, Kentucky with that tough man-to-man defense. And really Wofford playing a little light because Rachel Rowe's not out there, their point guard. And Georgia Amoore makes a great play there, but she really wanted to play against Georgia. She said, like one of her idols in college basketball.
Well, it's just so unfortunate, but of course this team playing it safe and really trying to get her ready for conference play or, down the stretch. That's wildly important to them. There you see back-to-back SoCon Player of the Year. There she is in the boot, dealing with an ankle injury that they've got to have her healthy. And listen, everyone associated with Wofford will tell you she is an incredibly competitive young lady out here shooting on one foot. Had a ball in her hand the whole time she was out here.
She scored 670 points last year. She also had the first triple-double in Wofford history. She had 19 points, 16 rebounds, and 11 assists against Furman last year, who's their biggest rival.
And they'll tell you it doesn't matter what you're playing. You can play checkers, you could play a little game of cornhole. She doesn't care. She is competitive and means business.
There's Strack outside, misses, but Silva tips it right to Matthews. Silva now at 6-7 into the game. 3 on the way. The lefty misses there. That's Molly Massengale. She had 10 last game out. So this is some great size inside as they dump it into Silva. Knocked away and stolen by Privet. So Clara Silva, pretty good first 2 games, 14 and 18, along with 11 rebounds in those 2 games. So here's Amoore again. Again, hasn't gotten off track yet. Amoore, long three. That's off the back iron, but the rebound by Strack put back up and in. Offensive rebounding, been a key for them.
Oh, we've seen it already a couple of times by Tiani Key and Clara Strack, using that length, taking advantage of, Wofford again. Got to put a body on somebody and push them out.
Long three misses there by Privet. So Massengale, the foul underneath, so it will be Kentucky's ball when we come back. They lead it by 10, 13-3, with 4.5 to go in the first quarter. Welcome back to historic Memorial Coliseum. The Cats lead it by 10, 13-3. Let's take a look at the season outlook for the Wofford Terriers. They are projected first in the SoCon in the preseason poll, and they haven't really let anybody down off to a 2-0 start.
Well, and hot off the press, we're just finding out that in the College Insider Mid-Major Top 25, they are inching their way up, and they're up to number 14 now. So really was late in the day coming out with that one. But, ranked 14th in that Mid-Major Top 25.
And for the Wildcats, 2-0 in Brooks' first season, but like we said at the start, defense has been fantastic.
Well, and he'll tell you, this is not a situation where, he says if fans are expecting turnovers, we're not a team that defensively turns you over, but what we do want to do is force you into shots you don't want to take. So he said that's really the cornerstone of this defense. Force you into something that you don't want to do or you don't want to take. We'll rebound and get going the other way, but you're not going to see this team really turn you over from a defensive perspective. But there you see 42 points per game in the last 2 games. Pretty stout. And they'll tell you, we've got work to do on the defensive end. They've made no qualms about that. I thought they played a really great game communication-wise in the first game, and Georgia Amoore in the postgame said, no, we were terrible. We were terrible in the first half, and I thought, wow, okay. I really was surprised to hear her say that.
So there's that inside-out passing from Silva back to Strack. Now they get it to Lawrence on the wing. Her three is good again. So the Wildcats off to a hot start from the field now. They're 6 of 11, 2 of 6 from 3.
Inside out, that's what you want. The ball goes inside. Clara Silva double teamed, sees her teammate wide open. Deja Lawrence improved her position. You can't stand still. What a game that young lady's having. 12 points already.
So, Coach Garrity said we have to start out hot and get some guys feeling good. 1 of 10 now from the field, 0 of 5 from the three-point line.
Yeah, certainly not what you want, no question. But he says we're a better team when we're in transition. So they've really got to start to force some things. Kentucky getting what they want offensively. They've got to start to force some things here.
I'm going to call an offensive there. Amelia Hassett away from the ball. The screen on the baseline. Boy, when you have those two out front and Silva behind it, where are you going to go? Of course, I said this in the open, Christy. They have Louisville on Saturday evening, 6 o'clock, and it is going to be a war with Jeff Waltz's club.
Well, and I love that game is back here at historic Memorial Coliseum. They've been playing it at Rupp Arena. It's going to be a great environment here, I think. And really, the biggest test Kentucky's obviously going to have had so far. So I think, when you are looking for a measuring stick, where are we? That's going to be a big indicator.
Just that turnaround jumper, not a whole lot that India Clark could do there at 5'11".
Well, and nothing fancy, right? Just turn and shoot.
So Sarah Data in there as well, and that a little short on that shot by Massengale. And here comes the Cats again. Lawrence running 1-on-4. Hassett drops it inside to Silva. Into the paint. Here's that following. Oh, knocked away. Nice defense there.
Deja Lawrence
steps back behind the arc and says, block this.
Is feeling it.
Big three by Lawrence. Wildcats now 3 of 7 from beyond the arc.
Perfect from the field. Well, listen, this team is an excellent shooting team. Really struggled their last game, 5 of 25. But listen, that's not, it doesn't matter. When you're a shooting team, you shoot. You keep shooting. You shoot your way out of any kind of slump you think you might be in. You gotta find it.
Interesting, Lexi Blue into the game early. Cassidy Rowe also in, giving Amoore a break. And also, it'll be Hassett that comes out as well. Lexi, a very talented freshman. Open 3, point blank, a little too hard. Here comes Amoore. So now you really have 2 point guards in the game with Amoore and Rowe. Here's Cassidy Rowe, inside to Strack. They're going to call her for a walk. She took that little shot. I thought she was going to shoot it, right? Then she saw it was open in the lane.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I'd have to see that. I'm not sure I believe it. I don't know, guys.
So a great start for the Wildcats. Up 18 here. And for Wofford, they're just looking for something to fall. Now, we talk about this all the time. The players have said this. Really tight rims here. And a lot of these shots have been up there, and they just clanged off the rim for the Terriers.
Well, and that's really the best they can do is keep shooting. And that's why, right? I mean, it's...
Mia Floor runs into the person that you talked about, Silva. And, boy, what a block here.
Excellent. I mean, listen, she's in great position. She knows how to use her length. She knows how to use those big, long arms.
Ooh, nice shot there by Heiss.
And not foul, right? I mean, that's the big thing. No reason to foul.
Clara Silver. And here's Amoore, that double screen up top. Again, she really wants to get the ball inside. She had a 3, but she said, nope, I'm going to drop it down. Strack is fouled. She'll go to the free throw line.
Foul is on number 20, Clark, her first and the team third.
So that's not too shabby right there, is it? Second most in history and tied for third most in history in the first 2 games. And they're off to a good start here with 3. Strack, a pretty good free throw shooter, missed here. Kentucky on a 13-2 run. And the Terriers hitting just 1 of their last 10 shots. Strack 1 of 2. So here's Heiss, all freshman team, and the SoCon had 16 against North Carolina Central. Spinning around the top is Massagale. And here's Sarah Data. Data looking for the cutter. That one just a little in front of her, but she ran it down, and another miss. Silver with the rebound.
And that's a great shot. It's a good look for Wofford. It's just not going down.
So Strack will fire a 3, and that misses. And, you know, Kenny Brooks isn't mad at that. Well, she was open. He said, go ahead and take the shot.
Take the shot, but he'll also tell you that she's the type of player that needs to see one go down. And she'll get a little bit timid about taking them and whether or not she should take shots, which he wants her to. So sometimes that's really what she needs. She'll pass up some shots now because she didn't see the first couple go down.
Strack almost like a European center, right? Where she can really pull people away from the basket or forward, if you want to call her a 4 or a 5.
Well, the last game we saw her rebound the ball, take it the distance, and go all the way down, just like a point guard would. So, you know, she's got a skill set that is really extensive.
Give and go to Lexi Blue, and she kicks it back over to Key. Key down the paint, takes the hit, but can't get it to fall. Quickly back the other way. There's Tony Warren in the game. Baseline jumper misses everything. Silva, another rebound. Rowe cross court to Silva. Nice cut. She's fouled. Wouldn't go. Nice play defensively there. Silva will go to the free throw. Are they going to call this?
I think they're calling
on
a charge.
Silva on charge.
Yeah.
Well, yep. See that one again.
Let's take another look here and see. Ball goes in by Cassidy Rowe, but just a nice job by Wofford to just be set up and ready to go, anticipating.
Yeah, she was able to get in front of her there with her body. And that 3 misses at the buzzer by Heiss. So a good first quarter for the Wildcats, shooting 50% from the field.
Really getting it done. Deja Lawrence, she has been something else. Perfect from the field, and in about 8 minutes, 7 minutes of play, 15 points for that young lady.
All right, so 22-5. We back with the second quarter after this. Welcome back to historic Memorial Coliseum. Deja Lawrence off to a pretty hot start there, Christy.
Well, she's got a ton of experience, and this is what we're seeing out of her here is exactly what we knew she could give Kentucky on the offensive end. We hadn't seen a ton of it in the first 2 games. She was quietly scoring points in game 2, but this is just her ready to pull the trigger. She's feeling it tonight. Scoring in a lot of different ways, perfect from the field. 5 for 5, 3 for 3 from distance. That's a great start for Kentucky. 3 of 8 from the three-point line because they really struggled to find the three-point shot, really get any consistency going in game 2. They were doing other things really well. But there you see, I mean, she's a 1,000-point scorer at Charlotte.
I think this is great for her. She's 9 against USC Upstate, 10 against Northern, and for her to get her feet under, if you will, right before the Louisville game is huge for this offense.
Absolutely. There's so many things that this team is still figuring out, and that's something that Kenny Brooks talked an awful lot about as well, too. He's figuring out rotations, what personnel can do what. They're all still figuring each other out. He said this will be a season-long process where it'll take a little while, you know, for us to, he said, it'll be the end of the season before we can really say what we think we've got and who does what.
Really good play there by Paul because she got the rebound. She felt Tiana Key behind her and kind of over her back, so she just kind of slowed down and let her foul her. But, boy, they just cannot find the basket for the Terriers. Another miss from about 12 feet. Here's Hassett. Thought she was going to take that 3. Loves to shoot the 3 ball.
Well, 16 rebounds in game 2 for that young lady.
Amazing.
She wasn't shooting the ball very well, and that's something that Brooks talks an awful lot about, is if you're not doing what you do well in that game or at that time, do something else really well. And she did. She went and crashed the board, 16 rebounds.
Well, for Tiana Key right there, that's what she does well, is putbacks. Nice rebound, her 6th of the game, and she lays it in off the glass. Key works hard inside. Here's Wofford. Now 2 of 19 from the field. Paul, long jumper is good. That's a 3 from the baseline. And finally, they break through their first 3 of the game. Now 1 of 9.
The shot goes up here. Tiana Key does a nice job. Not just a couple things that she's done well there. One is that she was jumping for the ball, right? She went after it, so she didn't reach. And then she made contact. She made a little bit of contact as she got that put back up. Good stuff there. 11 second chance points for Kentucky.
In and out. Key. Silva back to Key, and she knocks it down. A 3 and an assist. Nice.
What you're starting to see is several different players, lots of different players that can emerge as scorers for Kentucky.
Amoore just hounding Matthews out front. Again, she's kind of the emergency point guard this game as Rachel Rowe's unable to play. Hassett, she'll fire a 3, and she hits. Amelia Hassett with the jumper.
Listen, that young lady knew she was going to shoot. She had her hands ready to go. A hand in her face. Wofford was playing some good defense.
Look at that takeaway by Amoore. Spinning into the paint was Warren, and Georgia was right there to just take it from her. Key, baseline, turnaround is good.
Can't stop that. It's that fadeaway. All 3 of Kentucky's post players do that so well. It's something Kenny Brooks teaches. They work on it.
Silva
tipped it to herself.
Excuse me, tipped it to herself there. She couldn't grab it, but so much taller. Did not go over the back, didn't foul on that. Just tipped it to herself. Got herself another rebound. Here's Hassett again from beyond the arc. In and out. Boy, that was all the way down, but guess who? Key with the rebound. And now Silva falls to the ground, and Floor was able to pull that one down for the Terriers. 6:45 to go in the half. 3 on the way by Polk is no good. Rebound tipped around, and Warren has it. Now it's Floor to Matthews. Kentucky stays Man-to-man, as they'll do 95% of the game, and Wofford will play it on every single possession. Warren was going to shoot, and then she decided to go around that pick and took an extra step.
Into the lineup for Wofford.
So Sanaya Tyler coming into the game for the first time for the Wildcats, and Clara Strack coming back in. Silva and Key will take a seat, and Hassett's going to come in the backcourt to help bring the ball up. Nope, she's going to take a seat.
Off wins number 2, Sanaya Tyler.
Well, they only have 4. Okay, now Hassett's staying in. There we go. Thought she was going to take a seat. They're going to play 4 on 5 for a little while.
That's not going to work.
6:20 to go here in the first half. Kentucky out to a comfortable lead, shooting 12 of 24 from the field. Also 5 of 11 from the three-point line. Strack comes back to her after the tip.
Well, she got her shot blocked as well, too.
Silva and Strack both. And Lawrence, boy, good hands by Wofford. The Terriers all over. And a strip of Strack. Say that 3 times.
Yeah, it's good defense there by Wofford. We talked about Kenny Brooks saying that you aren't going to see a ton of steals from his defense, and that's something that we talked about today with Jimmy Garrity. He said, listen, we take calculated gambles. He said it's not a situation with our defense that we say, this is where you trap, this is the time to do it. We want you to have some basketball IQ and figure it out and understand when is the right time to trap. Be smart about it, but when you make a decision, go for it. Play with some instincts. I think that's what we've seen 2 straight trips here.
Yep. Evangelia Pauk again with the rebound, and she brings it up herself.
That's where you really trust your players, when you say, listen, you can gamble, you can trap, no problem.
Well, a nice play by Strack there to give help to Hassett. Knocks that one, blocked that away out of bounds. I think it's the 4th block of the game for the Cats.
It's great help defense.
Defense has been great, rebounding. Kentucky with a 12-rebound lead, 23-11. And this is a team that, although they are small in stature, the Terriers, they have out-rebounded in the first 2 games. They average almost 43 rebounds a game.
Oh, that
was all the way
My
in.
Goodness.
And came back out. So they got to lift the lid on that one. They're going to call Hassett with a block there, but I think she was trying to go over the top to curl over to the three-point line.
Yeah, that's another
tough foul
screen.
right
Yep. Illegal screen, but you kind of see everybody looking around like, what happened? I'm not sure.
So here we're under 5 minutes to go in the half. We'll take a timeout. Kentucky to a comfortable 32-8 lead. Welcome back to Memorial Coliseum. Just inside of 5 minutes before the half, but there were some high expectations for the Terriers coming into the season, and coming into this game, they have kind of upheld that.
Yeah, this is, the SoCon is their conference, and that's they won last year, really the preseason favorites, as they should be. They returned 3 players that were injured last season. They really struggle with depth, but have them back this year. There you see the preseason coaches poll with Wofford at the top.
Tell you what, it's a fun conference to watch. I mean, Furman, who just a couple years ago weren't real good, they've jumped up to 3rd. UNC Greensboro, Sanford, Mercer, Chattanooga, Western Carolina.
First time in program history for Wofford.
East Tennessee State, yeah. So Wofford coming in number 1, and again, it's really tough for them. Christy, we can't emphasize this point enough, and I know it's not a Power 5 conference, but to lose your heart and soul, your point guard, in Rachel Rose, and it's a situation where her ankle, they said, if this was a big-time game in SoCon, she could probably pay, but you don't want to play her here and injure her any worse. Get it healthy. You got some big games coming up in conference ahead.
No question the competitor in her wants to play. Yes. And listen, a coach's heart wants her to play as well, too. She said, he said, should she give me this death stare when she, we tell her we should sit her. But that's what you want. You need a competitor on the floor. everybody else follows. When you lead like that and you are that kind of competitor, it raises everyone else's level in so many different ways.
So Privet hits the 3 on their end, just the second, and then here Amoore with the short jumper.
That's a nice shot for her. She was 0 for 2 from the 3-point line. Needed to get something to fall.
Boy, high arcing shot there by Ikuwu. Tell you what, man, that thing almost hit the scoreboard. Out of bounds it goes. Polk was going to grab it, and Lawrence knew it was going out, so she just let her go after it.
Well, and if you're Coach Garrity, this is the kind of game, too, that you want to see what kind of fight your team has, especially when you're without your point guard. You want to see how can you fight through some adversity. You know you're overmatched, undersized. So what do you do about that? How do you know, he talked about basketball IQ. He wants this team to play smart, be smart.
Okay, are they playing a 2-3 zone there? Kind of looked like it there.
Mixing it up just a little.
He told him one time, they'll go play zone. They got 4 straight steals and said, what kind of a coach am I?
Said, yeah, last year. He said he thought, oh, well, okay. Or it was press. They were pressing. He
Yeah,
said,
pressing.
we hadn't worked on a press all year long. He said we pressed a little bit. Next thing you know, he thought, well, okay.
Hadn't even worked on it.
Love those kinds of stories from coaches because I think it just shows, you know, some of the realness and you know, just when you think you've got things figured out, you don't have anything figured out when you're trying to work with young kids.
There's not many people that's going to block Queen's shot when she throws it up there, is
no, no.
Man, that thing is a high arcing shot.
But what you know, too, is that those rebounds are going to come off long.
The high, long rebounds, yep. Here's Tyler on the wing. Strack dumps it down Silva, and she gets it taken away. Yep. Polk again, ahead.
That's a good scout there by Wofford, knowing that that high-low is a problem, can definitely be an issue.
Gotta like that when your player's getting on the ground like that. Ikuwu had the ball, went to the ground. Clara Strack comes right over, and Clara just jumps on the ground trying to take that. It's a jump ball.
Yeah, got to get after it.
Yep. I mean, you're up 34-11 and scrapping for a ball at 6'5". Now she really has to arc that one over Silva. That long rebound comes off to Massengale, and Massengale will bring it out and start the offense all over again. Strack on her. So they switched, and Strack is on a 5'9" freshman. Boy, that ball just kind of thrown up there, misses, but Polk keeps it alive. Three-pointer again on the way short. And again, Wofford had the ball in their hands and knocked out of bounds, and they'll keep it.
For Wofford, number 1, Hawk into the lineup, placing number 15.
So Maddie Hawk now comes into the lineup, a 5'10" freshman.
You know, Wofford only one of their last 13 field goals, just struggling to find anything to go. But they're doing a nice job on the defensive end now of making some adjustments.
But like you were saying, this has been a little bit of a drought for the Wildcats, and this is what Kenny Brooks wants not to have. 4 turnovers in the last 5 minutes for them.
Which means, no buckets.
Stagnant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ikuwu there, now she kicks it back outside. Cassidy Rowe all over Data. Boy, she was almost ready to pull, wasn't she?
That's where the length can definitely, they know it. It's in the back of their mind.
That hits the rim 3 times. Strack pulls it down. Here comes Amoore. Wofford's back. Here's that wing 3. Clara Strack can't hit it. So another miss. Wildcats down to 42% shooting now. Make it 38, 13 of 28 for the game now. Another long 3 by Privet. Key runs it down in the corner, and they say she stepped on the baseline. Should have let that one go. Kenny Brooks just puts his head in his hands over on the sideline like, oh boy. Kentucky outscored them 22-5 in the first quarter, and it has been a struggle here in the second. 93 seconds to go.
She got a piece of it.
Yep. Tipped by Silva. So it'll stay with Wofford. Boy, Silva is just...
You can sense a little frustration with Kentucky as well, too. It's some of those hustle plays that aren't necessarily going their way. It's like when you go after a ball and you can't quite get your hand on it, it can be so frustrating.
Nice baseline move by Polk. They're going to call the foul. I don't know if it's on Rowe or Silva.
It's a great drive. That's really what you got to do. Yeah, they're going to call that on Silva. Yep. Polk just doing a nice job of really trying to expose Kentucky's post players. You got to pull them out, then you got to put the ball on the floor. Had her by a step there. There's nobody on the floor that will step up to take a charge any quicker or faster than Cassidy Rowe, that young lady.
Interesting move here by Coach Brooks, Christie. He takes Silva out and puts in yet another guard. So now he has Lawrence, Cassidy Rowe, and Georgia Amoore trying to kind of match up now with the 4-guard offense that Wofford plays.
Well, again, he talks about positionless basketball, and he means that with Tiani Key and Clara Strack in here,
still have enough
you
size
could go 5
inside,
out if you want to. Yeah, absolutely. Still have size if you wanted somebody to play with their back to the basket. So a lot of options with a lineup like this.
Amoore almost had it taken away. Nice defense on the perimeter there by Sarah Data. And she does it again, and this time it gets away. Amoore is able to get it. Battling for the ball, and they'll call a jump ball. It'll stay with Kentucky. Nice defense by Sarah Data.
Absolutely, just sticking with it. Just keeping after it, keeping after it.
You know, Christy, we talked so much of the girls on Kentucky's team that have played international basketball, but Data from Croatia, she played for the under-20 national team for Croatia. She's a sophomore at 5'11".
Just so much experience to garner from international ball.
Interesting how these young ladies find these different teams all over the United States, you know?
Yeah.
Kentucky, 4 international players on the squad.
And you ask a lot of these young women, right, to come to a totally different country.
Yep. I mean, it's fun. I think as an outside observer to see someone from Portugal, a couple Australians, the Czech Republic. I mean, that's neat.
Oh, it's great. There you see. You love listening to the 2 Australians talk as well.
Well, the ball is just not going in for either team right now. Strack just missed really a bunny, a little 4-foot jump shot. 40 seconds to play, dumps it down to Key. Key hammered on the hand, out of bounds it goes, no call. She must have got all ball. It's getting kind of hard to see from here, but it goes out of bounds. It'll stay Kentucky basketball.
We're seeing Wofford do a really nice job with helping on the defensive end. The double team coming from a couple different angles.
It's Data again. Amoore, quick jumper, hard. Ball ran down by Strack, and she throws it right to Hawk. Ice can't get the shot off, so she kicks it off to Data. Again, about a 2.5-second difference in the shot clock and the game clock. Heiss tries baseline, double teamed, kicks it out to Polk. A foul is called. This one might be Lawrence. It is Deja Lawrence.
This is the first time, I think, for Kentucky. I know we're only 3 games into the season, but where we're starting to see some fouls pile up. They don't go incredibly deep, only 7 or 8.
Yeah, again, two young ladies on the bench in gray sweats probably would have been starters for this team.
Yeah, there was just tough injuries. It's part of the game. It is what it is. Everybody deals with it, no question.
Obi Jordan we're talking about, of course, and Dominika Perova, both of them, a ton of experience and would have come in here and really lit things up. Leaves you a little short. Both of them, one Achilles and one a knee. Boy, Amoore doesn't miss that shot too often. So a really tough last 7 minutes for both teams.
Neither
Kentucky,
team shooting the ball very well, on the last
Kentucky
little bit.
held them 7 points in the second quarter.
Yep.
They lead at 34-12, but it could have been a lot worse, Christy.
Oh, yeah. Well, you talk about both teams have really struggled the last probably 8 minutes or so here to find the basket, no question about it. But this is where we've seen Kenny Brooks make some adjustments at halftime. I think you'll see this defense be better, and you'll see them be more efficient on the offensive end.
Going to be very interesting to see the changes or adjustments that both coaches make. All right, we're at the half. 34-12, your halftime score from Memorial Coliseum. Back to historic Memorial Coliseum. Kentucky leads at 34-12 as we are getting you set for second half action. Of course, the ice cream from Rubberina they have here at the Coliseum
They
as
do.
well. Everybody loves the ice cream when you
it's
come
now
to
at Kroger
University
Field,
of
too.
Kentucky.
They have it everywhere.
That's right,
Yeah.
everywhere. All right, let's talk a little basketball. Kentucky started off on fire. A great first quarter, slowed down in the second, but three-point shooting, especially in the first quarter, right on.
Well,
right
they
on
needed
the
it, after game 2 when they really didn't shoot the ball very well. But you're right, this was a tale of really 2 quarters. They were on fire in the first quarter, not so much in the second quarter, but this young lady, Deja Lawrence, was flat doing it. 3 of 3 from distance for her, but they went 5 of 13 for 38%, so shooting better, but this is a situation where these blocks and their defense is going to have to turn some things into offense for them when they are struggling to knock down three-point shots, and we're seeing that again. But now I'll tell you, Wofford is not going inside and in the paint quite as much as what the previous 2 teams have done against Kentucky, so they are really trying to pour it in from outside. They're struggling shooting as well, too, only 2 of 19 from the three-point line. But yes, when they do get into the paint and when they do try to go to the rim, Kentucky has a ton of erasers that can take care of that.
I mean, Christy, no one scored in the last 4.5 minutes of that game.
It was ugly. Yeah, that got ugly. And I said that really just goes to show you how this game can change in a heartbeat. I mean, this first quarter, I thought Kentucky was incredibly efficient. They were playing well. They looked good on defense. And then in the second quarter, you start to relax a little bit. You aren't necessarily as locked in as what you were. Wofford started to make some adjustments on the defensive end. Some shots aren't falling for you the way you want. So this is where you fight through. This is why you appreciate games like this at this time, early in the season like this, where you can really maybe, you look at the score, you say, well, this isn't really a test for Kentucky, but in a lot of ways it is.
I thought today, when we were here at shoot-around afterwards, I thought Coach was a little not happy with what he had seen. And when he came off at halftime, he had a interview with the radio side of things and was not happy with the first half. Said he was, a little upset. And we shall see the adjustments he made. I'd like to have been a fly on the wall in there at halftime,
Well, I think that just goes to show you that that's, coaches have a high expectation. That there's no question Kenny Brooks has a very high expectation of how he wants his teams to play, what he expects of them. But the reality is he knows what they're capable of, and that's the problem. If your team isn't doing what they're capable of and isn't responding in a way you think they should, then that's really what you're upset about.
Nice defense there by Clara Strack. She gets the first rebound of the second half to get things started for Kentucky. They controlled the boards in the first half and continues here in the second. Again, Wofford playing that man-to-man. It looked like maybe once or twice they jumped into a 2-3, but Deja Lawrence drives and gets fouled. And that's always what, when you hear basketball people, it's always like, if they're not falling or things, try to get to the free throw line. That's something Kentucky didn't do in the first half, get to the free throw line.
No, they really didn't. I mean, they were only, 3 of 4 from the foul line. So, oftentimes, that just means you're being aggressive. You're putting the ball on the floor, trying to get to the rim, make something happen. It's her first miss of the night.
Sometimes, and Coach Brooks just shakes his head and looks at the ground. Not a lot you can do from sitting over there in a chair. He's played his entire team almost. Gone 4 deep from the bench. So Wofford, a tough go offensively all game long, and it continues as they start off with a couple of misses. Amoore hustling up the court. Tiana Key straight away. That's going to be short. Saw that one when she...
Just hesitated a little bit and didn't really gather her feet, rushed the shot.
You know, the thing you've got to like about Georgia Amoore, she could have taken that shot, but she is trying to get her team going. She knows she's got a comfortable lead, but trying to get them hitting on all cylinders. So Wofford starts out 0 for 3 from the floor. In Kentucky, it's one and done each time down for the Terriers.
But she's got a great feel for the game, so she certainly understands, too, that if her team is struggling to score, then she's going to have to assert herself and make that happen.
There's Strack as she goes right down the lane and lays it in off the glass.
Well, and there's that physicality that Kenny Brooks talked about that he loves about her. She's playing, it could easily have been a foul with the body at an and one, but she plays through that contact, never assuming that you're going to get the foul call.
Spinning into the paint. Ooh, thought she should have kept going there. It's Mia Floor. Here's Heiss, tries to shoot over Key. Don't know if she got a piece of that, but that's short. And here's what Strack does so good. The rebound down and as soon as I said it, I thought that kind of went off the defender, didn't it? Off her leg.
Well, she's kind of chuckling a little bit about that when she sees. But that she's very capable of taking the ball the distance. There's a ton of trust there as well.
I mean, I know that Coach Brooks is upset as we are now 2.5 minutes into the second half, but you've held this team to 12 points. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Well,
and there's another turnover.
And again, I think that just goes to show you that he knows what this team is capable of and what they're not doing, what the expectation is. He has said that attitude and effort are worth about 8 points a game. And, I think he probably wasn't getting the effort he really wanted, especially in that second quarter.
So a tough start to the second half for the Terriers as they haven't scored in a while. Amoore inside the key.
Well, they've put up 41 shots. Kentucky's only put up 34.
Boy, nice.
4 of 41.
Yeah, Hassett with those long arms was able to get in the passing lane and knock that one away, and it's picked up by Strack, and now Lawrence in the forecourt. Boy, Amoore had a step. She'll spin over the top to Key. Hassett can't get free, so she'll go back to Amoore with it. Nice defense. See, it looks like a little 2-3, isn't it? I don't know. Long three, boy. When her team needed it most, Georgia Amoore comes through with a three.
Yeah, that's exactly what she does. When she knows her team needs a little shot in the arm offensively, she can absolutely give it to them at will.
Big shot by Georgia Amoore. That leads to a timeout. We'll get a couple of subs when we return, but Kentucky's opened up a 30-point lead as they are up 8-0 here in the third quarter. We're on ESPN. Got Jackson Robertson in there for Kentucky. Cooper Flagg, boy, everybody wanting to see this kid, the #1 recruit in the entire class. And Jaden Akins, Hunter Dickinson.
What a fun time of year, right? When you're really trying to, everybody's figuring things out. Everybody's trying to see what you got. All the talk on X. Social media is going crazy. Expectations. Big time expectations.
So, by the way, in that State Farm Classic, Kansas leads Michigan State 21-18 early in the first half there. So another miss, so make it over the entire third quarter. Man. Amoore stops and pops from the free-throw line, and that's short. They made a little bit of a kind of a wall. Oh, look at this. Beating everyone back and laid it in is India Clark. She's coming off the bench this year, had 10 double-digit scoring games last season. Sorry, go ahead.
It's exactly where that team wants to be, is in transition. That's a rebound out quickly. They've gotten away from that. That really is, Coach Garrity talked a lot about that being their identity. That's the one, right? That goes down for her. She smiles. She can relax a little bit. You take a deep breath.
And the entire bench jumped up at that one. There was Strack with the three. Then on the defensive end, gets the rebound. That's 38 rebounds now for the Wildcats.
But that transition transition game is something that Jimmy Garrity talked an awful lot about. being where this team thrives and where this team can be so good. It's where they want to be. They like living there, but that means you've got to rebound. You got to get the ball out quick. You got to get stops.
They're going to call a foul on Hassett there as Matthews drove. I thought that hesitation got Hassett a little outsider skis there, and she fouled. So Kentucky leads at 45-14 as Wofford scored their first 2 of the second half. We'll be back with more right after this.
They are an arboretum, and so they had about 100 trees that went down all over campus. Hundreds of years old trees that went down and uprooted. The entire athletic department went out and cleaned it up, and he said you can't imagine putting all of those people together, what kind of work they did in such a short amount of time. He said from that morning until about 2 o'clock that afternoon, you couldn't believe how different it was. But not only that, but I'll take that one step further and tell you something I absolutely fell in love with this team.
This is something I know you would have loved.
Oh my gosh, it was fabulous. So they did lose power. Half of their dorms lost power, which meant half the team lost their power in their dorm rooms. So they really had no choice but to go to the arena, and that's where they were going to stay until they had power. So
well, they also, their cafeteria was with no power,
yes.
So they had to open the arena and use all the concession stands to feed everybody.
So they decided, well, if half the team has to be at the arena, the other half of the team says, we'll come too. We'll do this with you. We will absolutely.
Brought mattresses.
They loaded up their mattresses. They dumped everything in one of their teammates' truck, and they brought it all down to the arena. They were there for 3 days. They spent 3 days. They, Coach said it was fabulous. They, shooting baskets at midnight and really doing a lot of team bonding. That's the kind of stuff that is so organic that you cannot ever try to fabricate, or you could say you'd really like to have some team bonding activities and that kind of thing and do some things, but something that is so organic and off the cuff like that is so impactful. I told him, I said, listen, 20 years from now, that's exactly what those young ladies will be talking about when they get together for an alumni weekend at Wofford. They're going to be talking about, remember that time when we spent 3 days in the arena, the whole team hanging out, having a great time. So really good stuff. If there's something good that can come out of something tragic and terrible, they definitely made that work.
So that is a jump ball as Tiana Key went over the top and was able to not foul on that. Jimmy Garrity thought differently.
I think he had an argument for over the back there, I think.
Just 14 total free throws in this game so far. Kind of like that. Strack will reset. 4 on the shot clock as Amoore lets go with the long threes. No good. Run down in the corner by Massingale, and she takes off up the court. The one thing I like, both of these teams really get back on defense.
Yes.
There is no bunnies. I mean, we've seen one Wofford fast break basket, and I think Kentucky got ripped a little bit by Coach on that one when that happened, and they are getting back.
Well, and I appreciate Wofford still really staying in it. I mean, they're still getting after it.
India Clark with that basket. It's her second of the game. She's got 4 points. Oh, Silva open baseline turnaround, rolls in.
Nice. It's a great cut. That's what we see, I think, out of Kenny Brooks' teams. A lot of is really great cutting without the basketball.
Her first bucket of the game. 2 points, 4 rebounds.
Yep, travel.
Yep.
Little hop right before she took off.
I think she saw Silva coming out on her and goes, oh boy.
Uh-oh, yep. There you see Silva cutting across the lane, and again, there's that little fadeaway and great touch. That ball bounced all over the rim. It's a shooter's roll there.
For the Cats, number 5, Cassidy Rowe. Placing number 32, Hassett.
That's when you have to have a really good understanding of this offense to know this is about sharing. This offense, I think, from an assist perspective, this team has been so impressive in 3 games now, 13 assists on 18 made baskets, excuse me. It's predicated on sharing the ball.
Cassidy Rowe tries the 3. She knocks it down, and she's fouled. 4-point play for the Wildcats as Rowe goes to the line to try to finish it off. Boy, she stepped into this one nicely.
Take a look here, gets the shot off.
Yeah,
Love the grin.
Yeah. And she can't complete the 4-point play. I misspoke. Just the 7th free throw of the game for Kentucky. Hawk will fire, and that's a little hard. Boy, Massagill came flying in there and got her hands on that one, knocked it out of bounds, and it will stay with Wofford as Key couldn't hang on to it. This was a Wofford team that came into this game averaging 75.5 points a game in their first 2. Kentucky's defense has been really good. Boy, that right there is just stick-to-itiveness. Evangelia Polk stayed with that one and was able to drop it in for 2. Strack, wide open 3. A little hard, and rebound comes off long to Clark. And here comes the Terriers. Massagill, Heiss, goes baseline. They're gonna call the foul on Cassidy Rowe.
Foul is on number 5, Cassidy Rowe, her first, and the team's second.
So, Christy, some pretty good defense by Kentucky, and how about these numbers?
Yeah, fewest points allowed would be 38 so far tonight. 20 points here. If they stay on pace here, this will be the fewest points a Kentucky opponent has scored against them since 2014 against UC Santa Barbara.
Heiss short on her first. She had 16 versus NC Central. Go ahead.
Clara Strack checking out of the ball game, but you know the point I wanted to make about you, she's 1 of 6 from the 3-point line, but every shot she's taken has been a good one. Every 3 that we've seen her take
have been almost wide open.
They've been wide open. They've been at a good point in the offense. They've not been a rushed or quick shot in the early in the shot clock. They just haven't gone down, and they will. I mean, and it's not, they're not bad misses. I mean, they're, you know, off the front of the rim or off the side of the rim. These are shots that will go.
Call steps on that when Silva kind of tripped over the defender. Coach Brooks just shakes his head in disbelief on the side. You know, look, Wofford is a really good, she walked there, free throw shooting team. But when you start missing and when it's so tough to get a shot off, does that affect even your free throw shooting?
Oh, it can, absolutely. I said, you know, a lot of times those transition buckets are exactly where you want to live when you're struggling to score.
Yeah.
Getting something easy, a layup, in transition, wide open, those are the best buckets you can get when everybody is really struggling to score.
Amoore knocks it down. So Wofford with 1:19 to go here in the third has broken through the double-digit barrier in a quarter, and now they have 13 here in the second half. They only had 12 the entire first half. Amoore's going to fire again, this time from 3. That's no good. And Wofford, nice wall as Silva and Key couldn't get the rebound.
They've done a much better job of boxing out, Wofford has, and not allowing Kentucky to get second chance opportunities here in this second half. So one shot goes up for Kentucky and they're done because they've done a much better job. You see right on cue.
Yeah.
An offensive rebound there, but just a nice job. You got to put a body on somebody. You've got to be able to play.
That was a pass, right?
I mean, it's inevitable. You would get 2 offensive rebounds.
Lawrence was long on that 3, and Key came up to rebound, and almost like a pass, just caught it, laid it up and in. That was the easiest bucket she'll make.
Well, that's just having a nose for the ball, too, right? I
Yep.
mean, knowing you're exactly where the ball's going.
Hawk into the paint, into the Key, and Key knocks that one away. Another block for the Wildcats. That's 8 blocks now for Kentucky. Had 16 last game against Northern Kentucky. It's pretty remarkable. And that time Cassidy Rowe blocks that one away from Heiss at 5'10". Cassidy Rowe at 5'5". How about that?
The smallest player on the floor.
Look at the entire team is over there off the bench.
Listen, and not only did she block it, she pulverized it out of bounds. What a block. That was fabulous.
Like Bill Russell for the Celtics knocking that one into the seats. All right, we played 3, 10 minutes to play, 54-25, your score from historic Memorial Coliseum. Oh, my. 1 quarter to play here at historic Memorial Coliseum. And, you know, Christy, to say it was a struggle, I don't know if that's the right word, but it has been a test for the Wildcats in this game, even though they've got a comfortable lead.
They do have a comfortable lead, but I think that's where you start to see some of that frustration come in for Kenny Brooks, where, again, there are going to be things as you go back and watch film they are not, he will not be happy with, and you're currently not happy with, but that's what you want. You want games like this where you get pushed, where you're facing adversity and you have to make adjustments accordingly.
And you look at what they've done. They're 4-7 from the free throw line. Haven't shot many of those, but watch this block in the half.
I mean, listen, it was right as
see the official?
Right as the quarter was ending, so that had to go quick. I'm telling you, 5-5. She's 5-5 on a good day.
She got up and blocked that one. That was pretty awesome.
Well, we were talking about it, too, in the commercial break, that you could hear it from over here. She just flat nailed it.
So Kentucky shooting 43% for the game to 17% for Wofford. Kentucky 8 of 24 from the three-point line, 2 of 23 for the Terriers. So Kentucky's defense, I think Kentucky's height has really bothered this team. Pauk 3 on the way, and that's in and out. Rebound knocked around. Hassett brings it down.
Well, they've known being in the paint is not going to be where they can get any kind of offense generated. They know they absolutely have to be outside the paint, and so that is really where they're struggling. 2 of 24 from the three-point line.
So Deja Lawrence comes in and hangs the net on that 3. And now Wofford, again, just trouble running their offense. And this is Matthews. She backs out. She's playing one-on-one. Her shot's going to be short over Lexi Blue. Out of bounds it goes. So Blue starts the fourth quarter here. Watch this pass. Whoop, just dropped it off to her.
Ready to shoot, feeling it. Great night for Deja Lawrence. That's the second shot she's hit from down there in the corner. 19 points, 4 of 5 from deep.
Hassett drops it down to Strack. What a catch and shoot.
So athletic.
Wow. So Kentucky comes out quickly. A 3 and a 2, 5 quick points to start this fourth quarter. Here's Heiss. She'll fire from 3. That's off the back iron. Strack taps it out, and I got it. That'll be Kentucky's ball.
Just not really, as you take another look here, such an athletic play, heads-up play. It's basketball IQ right there. That's when you're smart enough to know.
Not to come down with it.
Yeah, what the defense is giving. You're going to come down into a double team.
Again, just some passing around the perimeter. Hassett, she'll self throw. That's going to be hard. Over the top of the basket. Boy, she's got 1 today. 1 of 4 from the field. All her shots have been 3-pointers. 4 rebounds, but Strack 14 rebounds. 12 points. So another double-double for Clara. Clara's been really good in the first 3 games of this season. They're going to call this, I think they're going to call this one on Strack.
It's been such a struggle for Wofford offensively to really get anything going at all. Let's see, yeah, they got her with the foul. To your point, Jeff, it's the length that's been a problem, so they know you can't get anything really effective going to the rim. You're not going to post up and try to get anything with your back to the basket, so they really are having to knock down some outside shots, and they just aren't going.
India Clark.
So when you're having to rely so heavily on a 3-point shot, listen, we mentioned it, they've got 58 shots at the basket, only shooting 17%, 11% from the 3-point line. It's just not working for them.
And Lexi Blue knocks that one down. The freshman got a little bit of a crease there. She grabbed and shot. Theo, she's got a quick trigger finger, too.
Oh, well, they can all really shoot the ball so well.
Nice deflection there by Hassett. And again, you just can't get in your offense. There's already 12 seconds left, and you still got the ball at it midcourt.
Well, and Wofford shot the ball. You know, they can shoot as well, too. This is a team that, you know, all 5 players at any point can be outside the three-point line and take shots.
Boy,
They just aren't falling for him tonight.
Coach Garrity, a great timeout there is a triple team. They jumped out and trapped. So they have 3.9 seconds to get a shot off. We'll take a timeout. 7:01 to play. 62-28. The Cats lead. 2:28 your score here at historic Memorial Coliseum. A lot of SEC colors in the top 25.
We talk ad nauseum about how difficult the SEC is to play in, and this is why. When you've got 7 teams ranked in the top 25, it's the most of any conference. Week in and week out, you just really kind of look forward to that week off, you know, as you say, okay, we get a Thursday night off, and
well,
you can catch our breath just a little bit.
And unfortunately, you and I will not be here Saturday. We both have to do football, but should be a fun game against Louisville of the ACC, one of the 6 in the AP poll.
Yeah, there you go. A big test for Kentucky, no doubt, when you think about really trying to figure out where you are 4 games into the season.
Shot clock violation. Wildcat basketball.
So good defense by Strack there as Maddie Hawk couldn't get that shot off, or it missed, I should say, and did not hit the rim.
You know, and this is where you start to, a game like that, the Louisville game, where you start to rely heavily on players like Sanaya Tyler and Cassidy Rowe, who understand what that rivalry is all about.
Yeah.
Cassidy being a Kentucky kid, understanding what that rivalry means, having been there, done that, they can really start to help a whole new group of players and coaches understand. They won't need much.
But I like what you said earlier. The game's here.
It's here,
at this arena where it hasn't been for quite a few years. The last time they played them, it was at Rupp Arena when it was in Lexington.
Yeah, they play at Rupp. They've played at Rupp the last several years, or Yum. They bounce back and forth, and yeah, I love the idea of this game being here in historic Memorial Coliseum. It's exactly where it should be. I think that makes it just such a great environment when you get a full house and it's loud.
So Louisville also playing tonight. UT Martin, they lead 25-11 after 1 quarter of play. Of course, their next game will be right here against UK. Try to go inside, and Warren with the steal. She just made a shot. Now she's going to go 1-on-3. Kicks it back over to the corner. 3 on the way, and it's good. And that's India Clark again. Look, this is a team that has 7 freshmen and sophomore, 3 juniors, only 1 senior.
Well,
so a lot coming back for the Terriers.
And a second half where they're starting to figure some things out. You know, they just haven't hit some shots, but they're open. They're getting some good open looks and just haven't been able to knock down threes. But India Clark's given them a big shot in the arm in the second half.
Ooh, Lexi Blue's able to pick that one up, reset the offense. George Amoore says, let's calm down a minute. Pulls it back out. Kentucky averaging 84 points in these first 2 games, and Amoore hits the 3, gives him 67 now. With 5 minutes to go here in the game. High arcing shot again by Queen Ikuwu, and she misses. Ikuwu, a transfer from Tulsa. She's from Madrid. Strack underneath with the rebound and put back in.
Well, Ikuwu is 0 for 5 from the three-point line, but I don't think that's going to keep her from shooting.
16 points, 15 rebounds for Strack so far in the game. No, I don't think that worries her in the bit.
No.
It shouldn't. Didn't to you when you played.
You got to pull.
Ooh, nice take right there, but just will not fall for her. Kulu misses. 0 for 7 from the field for her. Strack, she'll fire again. That's going to be hard. Good rebound underneath. Take it away by Hassett, and she puts it in. I don't think Sarah Data saw her, and she went to dribble, and Hassett just grabbed it and laid it up and in. It's a good way to get 2.
Kenny Brooks talked about Hassett in the post game after game 2 and said she's a shooter. We all know she's a shooter, and she's excellent at it.
Whoa!
Beautiful transition
no
bucket.
Look pass.
But he said when you're not doing the things you do well, you have to do something else. And so this is the kind of thing that we're talking about. Even if you're not shooting the ball well, you have to go rebound. You have to play defense. You have to make something happen otherwise. And we've seen Amelia Hassett really be able to do that for 2 games now. There you go.
Yep.
Just a heads up, yeah, heads up play.
But look at this. No look pass to Strack, right on the money. No dribble from the 3-quarter mark in, from the hash in, and they got an easy layup.
Well, and that, again, we talk about Strack and how versatile that she is. That's another element of her game right there, is that she's an excellent passer, but not every post player or big at 6'5" can you give the ball to in the open court like that and then be able to make a great pass without walking or sort of losing the ball, losing the handle on it.
So Strack, a big smile on her face on the bench as she now has 16 points and 15 rebounds. Nice game for her. Drive to the paint, and the foul will be called Deja Lawrence. So Matthews will go to the free throw line.
Matthews at the line for 2.
They are now 6 of 11 from the free throw line. Kentucky 4 of 7. Seven of 12 now for the Terriers. Lexi Bell, oh, nice little drop pass to Silva, but the ball won't go for her. Tough shooting game for her tonight. She's only attempted 3 shots, made 1. 2 points.
Highly unusual for her, considering she's been nearly perfect every time she puts the ball up.
3 on the way, that's no good. Boy, tipped away by Silva. She couldn't get it, but she tried to tip it over to Key. So 38, quite a few times, Kentucky opponents. That's the low in Kentucky basketball history. Massengale goes all the way around. And
just not happening with the 6'7" Silva in there.
Nope.
She does a nice job of not fouling as well. So I'll be interested to see how that translates into some really tougher competition where it's more physical. If you can still play that kind of defense, still block shots, keep the ball in play, and not foul.
Well, to be 6'7", have that kind of body control, you know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
On the run a lot of times. Tyler's able to run that one down in the backcourt. Silva, Lawrence. And I think they're going to call a foul on Key away from the basket. They are.
That's an interesting call. I mean, she just was really trying to get position.
So coming into the game now, Gabby Brooks for Kentucky and Hannah Becker.
Got her with that extending that forearm a little bit, trying to get some positioning.
So we're heading into the 2-minute mark here. So Matthews, pull-up jumper, just will not fall. Heights with it, she's fouled from behind. So she'll go to the free throw line. It's now starting to be a procession to the free throw line for the Terriers.
I think my first thought of that was a jump ball.
Yep, me too. Because I thought that Becker had the inside possession, had her hand on the ball. Wofford now 8 of 13 and make it 9 of 14 from the charity strike. So Lawrence quickly into the forecourt. Little motion offense out front. Lawrence open three. That's going to be off the mark. Skips over the front of the basket. Out of bounds it goes. So Kentucky had some trouble in the second quarter after scoring 22 in the first, and they had 34 at halftime. And now they're sitting on 72 points with 97 seconds to go. Polk will fire a long three, and she knocks it down from the top of the key. Brooks, Becker, Lawrence, Tyler. Now they try to go inside. It's taken away. I tell you what, you're right. The Terriers continue to play hard. And easy bucket there for Maddie Heiss.
Well, and they're so good. I mean, we've seen this now 2 or 3 times. That's so good in transition. That's where they want to be. They just have not been able to get that against Kentucky.
It's that little weave offense out front. Inside they go. Double team comes. Corner, 3-ball. Brooks on the way. No good. Rebound is Silva, and she's fouled.
Well, it was a great awareness by Clara Silva to know she's got 3 Terriers camping around her. So when the ball does come in, she's got to find the open man, and she did that.
Well, a Terrier is a small dog, correct? And they look small around her. Clara Silva, jumper, rolls in.
All the way around.
The shooter's touch there for Silva. Give her 4 points now in the game.
But I love that she looked weak side. She turned and looked weak side, knowing, listen, it's crowded over here. Where's the help coming from? So that's a great recognition.
Boy, Becker really playing some nice defense, staying in front of Heiss. Polk's going to drive in. Here comes a bounce pass. Stolen away by Tyler. One-on-one, she's going to go against Massengale. And thought that was a nice block there by Molly, but they're going to call her for the foul, and Tyler will go to the free throw line.
She thought so too. She said, come on.
What else can I do, she says.
Tyler at the line for 2.
Yeah, she got her on the hand or wrist to get a little bit. Sanaya hits the first of 2. Just the 8th free throw of the game for Kentucky. And she knocks them both down. So 6 of 9 from the free throw line for the Wildcats in this game. Polk tries a backdoor, stolen by Tyler, and then taken right back by Massengale. Out of bounds it goes. So it'll stay with the Terriers. 7 seconds to play in this one. Lawrence had the hot hand early, and she leads all scorers with 19. Shot on the way, that's going to be short, and that will do it as Tyler claims the loose ball. So the Wildcats go to 3-0. They survive a tough shooting night for them. They end up shooting just 60. Let me start all over again. Shooting 46% for the field, Christy.
Yeah, well, I continue to be impressed at how well this team shares the basketball. 20 assists on 30 made baskets. This is a team that absolutely understands how to make the extra pass and what that'll do for you offensively. So I'm just so impressed that they've done that for 3 straight games now. They've been able to really share the basketball and do such a great job there. So still plenty to learn from this game, plenty to get better with, and Saturday will be a true test for them.
Boy, it will, is Louisville on the way, and that is going to be a 6 o'clock start on Saturday afternoon. And we are going to be joined here shortly by Deja Lawrence, who had an incredible start of this game, and she didn't miss a shot in the first half. Kentucky now 3-0 to open the season in 10 of the last 12 seasons. So off to a great start, and Louisville looms as we are now joined by Deja Lawrence. And I'll tell you what, young lady, you could not miss at the start of the game. You just felt it, didn't you?
Yes, after the first 2 games, Coach Brooks has been on me of just about being confident, shooting the ball, not passing up any shots. I know I passed up a couple shots last game, so I made sure tonight that I didn't pass up any open shots.
So in the second game of the season, you guys were 5 for 25 from the three-point line, but you just kept shooting because we know, and he knows, how capable you guys are. Does he have some real confidence in you guys as a whole, it seems like, to just keep taking those shots?
Oh, yes. We practice. Everybody practice these shots every day. Every day we have practice. Everybody is practicing shooting behind the line. So he has a great amount of confidence in all of us to take those shots.
20 assists in this game. I'm continuing to be impressed at how well this team shares the basketball. What is it about you guys that you guys can just make the extra pass?
We just want everybody to eat, you know. That makes us a great team. We wanna look for not a good shot, but a great shot. So that's something that we live by. So we can find a great shot, we're gonna pass it one more to
Deja,
somebody.
Your defense tonight too was. I know you had a size advantage, but you looked like you just took that completely out of their game, especially in the first half.
Yeah, that was one of my main focus since the last couple games. My offense wasn't rolling, so I said let's focus on defense. The offense is going to come. So if you focus on defense, get the easy ones first, and then everything will start falling for me.
Well, that's something Kenny Brooks has talked about. He said, listen, if there are things that you do well, but you're not doing them well on that particular day or night, do something else well. So he really seems like he fully understands. You might have an off night. Everybody does, right? But you have to find another way to be able to do something well. You did that. I feel like you've done that for 3 games now, but then I said early on when you were knocking down shots, I said, oh yeah, this is it. This is what we know this young lady can do. But this really changes things for this team when you can score offensively. Do you feel that as well?
Yes, I do. I feel like if we're all at 30 to 3, everybody has to guard us at the 3, and that just also leaves our lanes for our great post players that we have. So if we're making shots, it's a great night for all of us.
That's it.
All right, I know you've heard about it. Yeah, you haven't played against them in blue and white, but Louisville coming up this weekend. Has he said much about that? Have you guys looking forward to that game, or what do you think playing against Louisville, man?
Well, we haven't talked much about it. We're a team that's one game at a time. We don't look too far ahead, but I know coming when we have practice the next few days, we're going to be all locked in Louisville. Of course, I've never played them. I never played them with Kentucky, so I know it's a huge rivalry game. So we're just going to take it as a huge rivalry game. We're going to come out and have just the amount of energy that we do every other night. We're just looking at it as another game.
Well, congratulations on a big game
Great
tonight.
Game.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good stuff.
All right, Kentucky goes to 3-0 behind this one right here. 19 points from Deja. Again, coming up next for the Wildcats, it is Louisville, 6 o'clock on Saturday, and it should be a fun game. 2 top 20 teams going head-to-head right here at historic Memorial Coliseum. For Christy Thomas, I'm Jeff Pecora. Once again, your final score is 76-42. Kentucky moves to 3-0 on the season.